In 1969, an NFL running back took shrapnel from a grenade that removed part of his right foot. Doctors gave him a 40% chance of walking normally again. 0% chance of playing professional football. 6 years later, that same player won his third Super Bowl ring with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name was Rocky Bleier, and this is the story of how a man who physically couldn't make a normal play became one of football's most unlikely champions. To understand how this happened, we need to go back to where it all started, in a small town in Wisconsin, where everyone said he was too small to ever make it. Robert Patrick Bleier was born on March 5, 1946 in Appleton, Wisconsin. His family ran a tavern, and they lived right above it. From day one, Rocky was around hard-working people who never quit. His dad liked to brag that his baby son had muscles as hard as a rock. The nickname stuck, but being tough wasn't going to be enough. At 5 feet 9 inches and 195 pounds, Rocky heard the same thing everywhere he went. Too small, too slow, won't make it at the next level. He captained the football, basketball, and track teams at Xavier High School. Colleges still doubted him. Notre Dame took a chance on him in 1964, but even there, the questions followed him onto campus. At Notre Dame, Rocky played under legendary coach Ara Parsegian. He wasn't the fastest running back. He wasn't the biggest. What he had was something you can't measure on a stopwatch. In 1966, his junior year, Notre Dame went undefeated and won the national championship. Rocky played in the famous 10-10 tie against Michigan State, the game that decided the title. When a teammate got injured during that game, Rocky switched positions mid-game to fill the gap. That was who he was. Do whatever it takes, win at any cost. By his senior year in 1967, his teammates voted him team captain. The 1968 NFL draft came around. Rocky waited and waited. Round after round passed. The Pittsburgh Steelers finally called his name in the 16th round. 417th overall, one of the last picks in the entire draft. The Steelers were terrible back then. They'd been losing for years. Rocky didn't care. He just wanted a chance. He made the roster as a rookie, mostly playing special teams and getting a few carries here and there. Nothing special, 39 rushing yards total. But he was in the NFL. Then in December, right after his rookie season ended, Rocky got another letter in the mail. This time it wasn't from the Steelers. The United States Army drafted him to fight in Vietnam. The Steelers tried to get him into the reserves or National Guard, anything to keep him out of combat. It didn't work. The war needed soldiers, and Rocky Bleier was going whether he liked it or not. Some guys might have been bitter about it. Rocky saw it as his duty. On December 4th, 1968, he reported for service. His football career was on hold. His life was about to change forever. May 1969. Rocky deployed to South Vietnam with Company C, 4th Battalion, 31st Infantry. He volunteered for combat duty. They made him a squad grenadier, which meant he carried an M79 grenade launcher. Frontline work, dangerous work. Nobody in Vietnam cared that he played for the Steelers. He was just another soldier trying to survive. Rocky himself said it best later on. I was an unknown football player on a losing football team. Out there, that meant nothing. What mattered was staying alive. August 20th, 1969. Rocky's platoon was on a mission near Hep Duke when everything went wrong. They walked into an ambush in a rice paddy. Bullets started flying from every direction. Rocky crouched down, getting ready to fire his grenade launcher. That's when the bullet hit him, left thigh. He dragged himself behind cover and wrapped the wound, while the firefight continued around him. Then he saw it. A grenade bounced off another soldier and landed right next to him. The explosion tore through his right leg and foot. Over 100 pieces of shrapnel ripped into him. Part of his foot was just gone. The medics got him stabilized and airlifted him to a field hospital. From there, he went to Japan, then back to the United States. The surgeons spent hours removing shrapnel. Some pieces were too deep. They're still in his leg today. The doctors were straight with him. You've got a 40% chance of walking normally. Playing football again is not going to happen. Your foot can't handle it. The impact, the cutting, the pressure, it's over. Most people would have accepted that. Rocky Bleier wasn't most people. While Rocky was recovering in the hospital, Steelers owner Art Rooney sent him a letter. It was short, but it meant everything. "Rock, the team's not doing well. We need you." Signed, Art Rooney. That letter changed something in Rocky. Maybe Rooney was just being nice. Maybe he really believed it. Either way, Rocky had a reason to fight. If the owner of an NFL team thinks I can still play, then maybe I can. The rehab started. Hour after hour of brutal, painful work. Learning to walk again, then jog, then run. His right foot didn't work right. The toes were mangled. His balance was off. Every step hurt. In 1970, Rocky reported to Steelers training camp. He was nowhere near ready. The team cut him, but kept him on injured reserve. Same thing in 1971, cut again. Rocky kept showing up, kept working. The other players started to notice. This guy won't quit. The coaches noticed too. In 1972, Rocky made it through training camp. He played in a few games. It wasn't much, but he was back on an NFL field. Then 1973. Cut again. This would have broken most people. 4 years of trying to come back, and he was still getting cut. Rocky went home to Appleton and worked at his dad's bar. He could have stayed there, found a regular job, moved on with his life. He didn't. He went back to Pittsburgh and kept training. 1974 rolled around and something clicked. Maybe his body finally adjusted. Maybe the coaches saw something different. Rocky made the final roster. For real this time. He played mostly on special teams at first, but he was contributing. The Steelers were building something special. They had a young quarterback named Terry Bradshaw, a dominant defense called the Steel Curtain. And they had guys like Rocky, who would do anything to win. December 29, 1974, Super Bowl IX. The Steelers beat the Minnesota Vikings. Rocky Bleier had his first championship ring. 5 years after doctors said he'd never play again, that was just the start. In 1975, the Steelers won Super Bowl X. Rocky was playing more, getting more carries, proving he belonged. Then came 1976, the year Rocky Bleier rushed for 1,036 yards, over 1,000 yards. A running back who couldn't walk right just 5 years earlier was now one of the top rushers in the NFL. He did it with a foot that was held together with surgical scars and sheer willpower. He did it by studying defenses, finding the right angles, and refusing to go down easy. The Steelers had Franco Harris getting the spotlight, but Rocky was right there beside him in the backfield. Together, they formed one of the best running back duos in football. Super Bowl XIII came in January 1979. Pittsburgh versus Dallas. Late in the game, the Steelers needed a big play. Terry Bradshaw threw a touchdown pass. Rocky Bleier caught it. The crowd went wild. That moment, right there, was everything Rocky had fought for. A touchdown in the Super Bowl, 5 years of surgeries and rehab and getting cut and showing up anyway. All of it led to that catch. The Steelers won 3 Super Bowl rings. Then in 1980, they won again. Super Bowl XIV, 4 championships. Rocky retired after the 1980 season with 4 Super Bowl rings and over 3,800 rushing yards in his career. The numbers don't tell the whole story, though. Rocky Bleier wasn't a Hall of Fame running back by statistics. His career average was decent, but not legendary. What made Rocky special was the impossibility of it all. A 16th round draft pick, nearly killed in Vietnam, lost part of his foot, told he'd never play again, then won 4 Super Bowls. The Steelers dynasty of the 1970s is filled with legends. Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris. Rocky Bleier belongs right there with them because his story shows what that team was really about. Toughness, resilience, never backing down. Pittsburgh fans knew it. The team knew it. Rocky proved that championships aren't just won by the most talented players. They're won by the ones who refuse to quit. After football, Rocky became a motivational speaker. He wrote books about his journey. In 1980, they made a TV movie about his life called Fighting Back.
Now, Rocky Bleier is fighting back.
He got hurt in the war, but that doesn't mean I want him on my football.
Robert Urich played him. Millions of people watched it and learned his story. Rocky spoke to veterans groups, corporations, schools, anyone who would listen. His message was simple. You can overcome anything if you're willing to work for it. He went back to Vietnam in 2015 for the first time since the war. He visited the spot where he was wounded. He talked about how that moment, as terrible as it was, led to everything that came after. In 2016, Rocky even wrote and starred in a one-man play about his life in Pittsburgh. At 70 years old, he was still sharing his story, still inspiring people. Rocky Bleier never made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Some say he should be there. Others point to his stats and say he falls short. The debate misses the point. Rocky's legacy isn't about yards or touchdowns. It's about what those yards and touchdowns represented. Every time he stepped on that field, he was doing something doctors said was medically impossible. His right foot couldn't handle the stress of professional football, except it did, for 9 more years after Vietnam. Through 4 Super Bowl victories, through a 1,000-yard season, through countless hits and cuts and all the things running backs have to do. Rocky Bleier made the normal plays with a foot that shouldn't have been able to make any plays at all. That's why his story matters. Not because he was the best, but because he proved that the best doesn't always win. Sometimes the guy who wants it more does. Rocky Bleier took a battlefield injury that should have ended his career before it really started and turned it into a Hall of Fame story, even without the Hall of Fame bust. He showed an entire generation of athletes and veterans that coming back from the worst day of your life is possible. You just have to be willing to fight for it every single day. Subscribe to Kicker Throne. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.